What is Kundalini Yoga? Now, I'm not talking about Kundalini Yoga. I'm talking about Kundalini Yoga. What do I mean by this? Well, we have the system. There is a system out there called Kundalini Yoga. These people that dress in white and they use Sikh imagery and things like this. Okay. But then we have Kundalini Yoga, or the Yoga of Kundalini. Now, yes, we can say, there are the 8 ashtangas or 8 realms of yoga, which include asanas and blah, 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 blah. Okay, yeah. Anyone who knows a little bit of yoga knows this. However, yoga fundamentally means something like union. So when we talk about the 4 original schools of yoga, we have Raja, Karma, Bhakti, and Jnana. That's it. That's all there is. All the others came after, made up by people, and those are the 4. Now, if we take Raja Yoga, we are talking about Raja as in mental. So we're talking about the union with the mind. So when we talk about Kundalini Yoga, or the Yoga of Kundalini, what we are actually talking about is the union with the Kundalini, which means getting our physical body, our mental body, our energetic body, our emotional body to a state that we are ready to connect the Shakti energy so it can rise, connect with Shiva, and come down again. Do we need to do lots of different physical exercises to be able to connect with Kundalini? Well, there are the asanas, there are the kriyas, there are the pranayamas, there are the mantras. Don't get me wrong. Through observance over millennia, these things were seen by people who were very energetically active, who were awakened. And they were taken, they were observed and said, well, if they do this, then if we do this, if we copy it, then we can get there too. And yes, in part, this is a good theory. However, if I put my hands like this, and I hold them like this for 10 years, does it mean to say I will ever actually create a chi ball? No. You actually have to connect energetically to feel the chi ball. If I recite a mantra, let's say the most famous one, Om. If I recite Om 1,000,000 times, will I connect to my inner energy using that mantra? It's possible. It could happen randomly, most definitely. Just as randomly it could happen. But it doesn't mean to say it will. So if I do these postures or movements, kriyas, or if I do a certain asana, is that going to get me there? No. The most important point when it comes to yoga, being the word union, means the connection of our physical body, our mental body, our emotions, to the energy, especially when it comes to Kundalini Yoga, because it is getting the body and the mind ready to connect and activate Shakti and awaken. So how can we do this? You can see in many different schools, many different disciplines, especially now today, there is the popular like Kundalini activation, where you see these bodies shaking, but it's not the only one that it happens in. That will happen in any de-armoring process. And yes, if you go back and you read the work of Freud, his original work, he actually had people going into these, what they were called then, exorcism states, which that's exactly what it looks like, through his work. He wasn't doing yoga. It comes through de-armoring processes. It comes through many different energy healing or energy work programs or systems. It can literally come through the practice of shaking. So if you start shaking, if you connect deep enough into a trance state while shaking, it will start happening spontaneously and these releases will happen. So how do we do the union of the mind, body, emotions to be able to connect to Kundalini? You may have seen, if you haven't seen, go watch my Chakra Explain video. You'll find it on my channel. Go to my channel, go to my videos and look for Chakras Explained. Because there, what I explain with the chakras is there are certain things that are stated very clearly that are very confused in the Western ideologies that you have to overcome before attempting this. So we're talking about desire, we're talking about fear, we're talking about opening to unconditional love or the state of awe. And different levels, the different chakras, represent those things. So with this said, if we want to say this in very basic terms, first of all, for the union of Kundalini, for Kundalini Yoga, we must do the shadow work on these principles. We must also clear all the blocks within our system. So the shadow work can be done in a psychological format. We can face our shadows, we can embody our shadows, and there are different ways to do it, but that's one way to do it. But then we have to start connecting to our energies. So how do we start connecting to our energies? Well, first of all, we have to learn to dominate the mind or control the mind. What do I mean by that? Do not let the ego run things. How do we do this? By changing our perspective away from the monkey mind to be able to observe the monkey mind and the whole of the mental body. Once we can do this, we can then start connecting to our vibration. You've all heard this thing of raise our vibration. Now, many people say raise your vibration means clearing your shadows or working on your emotions. No, it means connecting to the vibration of your energy. This can be done in something, many people will say it's meditation. It's not meditation because meditation means open mind. You know what I mean? I know I'm going to get people commenting, oh, yeah, meditation doesn't mean open mind. In meditation, you are not focusing on anything. If you are focusing on something in particular, that's not meditation, that's contemplation. And so when we go to focus on our energy, we are contemplating, we are sitting in the awareness of our energy. So how would we do this? It's as simple as sitting down and just opening your awareness, sitting, not doing anything, not forcing anything, and just feeling. And feeling the physical, feeling the mental, feeling the emotional, and just it's almost as though we're going down. We're not actually going down, we're going inward. This is why they say you must look inward rather than outward to get to the underlying part, which is the energy. And by sitting in the state of awareness and just allowing, some people would say call it being mindful. I would say it's being mindless and just keeping your awareness, looking for that vibration. And as we do this, going deeper, we might start to feel certain things. And these certain things could be within the physical body. Oh, well, my neck feels a bit, So you can just adjust, and either by stretching or just by getting that tension and just feeling, and it's better than stretching, it's just feeling, just like, now I'm going to connect this. Now I'm going to release this, going deeper and deeper and deeper. And as you do this on deeper and deeper levels, you might find your body starts having these little jerks, these little movements, as something takes over and becomes spontaneous. And the more we connect with this, so it's always a good idea to do this on the floor, it can actually turn into over time, a massive de-armoring process where we release all these blocks from our body. You can do this all by yourself. These things can be sped up dramatically, so it doesn't have to take 10, 15 years to get there. I teach this in my trainings, I teach this in my courses, theawakenenergy.com, if you're interested. But you can do these things alone. You just have to sit, be patient, observe, put in the work, put in the discipline, and just allow. And things will take over, and things will start to try and realign. It's almost like your inner knowledge becomes its own physio, and it will start adjusting and realigning, and you can get clicks, and you can get... And then if you move into this more deeply, so it's not just on a physical level, and as this is happening, you can focus and see if any emotions start arising. And if you really go deep and allow these emotions to arise, now these emotions could be happy emotions, sad emotions, fear, anger, and you could actually start almost in it seems uncontrollable way. You could suddenly start shouting. Now, of course, you can control this. You can stop yourself shouting. You can, these little movements, you say, why is my body moving? And I can stop it. You're always in control of this. However, if you say, I can really feel anger arising, if you just allow it out, if you voice it out and shout and scream, you can grab a pillow and shout into it if you don't want people to hear. Or you feel sadness and you allow the tears to flow, or you start yawning or coughing, or you feel the need to laugh. Allow them to flow. The more you connect with emotions, the more you allow these ones that are arising. You're not saying, oh, I want to feel happy, and now I'm going to connect with laughter and like laugh therapy. It's not quite that. It's allowing, as these movements in your physical body come up, if you connect to the emotions that arise within them, this is how we can clear them. It takes time. The more so as I said, it's dominating the mind, so we're not stuck in the monkey mind. It's clearing the shadows. It's connecting to our physical body, allowing our physical body to connect to our emotional body. We are creating a union between everything in us. And as we get in, we're going to feel deeper and deeper and deeper, and we get to the emotions. As the emotions clear, that armor we have built up, the program we have built up over our entire lives and has been programmed into us, can release. And the more this releases, the more we can start feeling freer, more at home in our body, more alive, because we are starting to get in touch, creating the union with our energies. If you want to do this just for yourself, we just keep going. If you want to learn how to do this for other people and help them on an energetic level and speed it up, like I said, go to one of my trainings at theawakenenergy.com, because you can learn how to do this and help people do this without having to go to thousands of yoga classes or meditation sessions. It doesn't have to be like that. It can be if you want it to be. And if you want it to be, great, go do it. But then as we come deeper and we connect deeper and we start feeling these vibrations within us, so this is just personal work, we get to a point that we will start feeling things to open up and activate. Now, many people say when Shakti rises, you really feel like a fire, a burning sensation in your root chakra. And for most people, this is very true. However, what most people won't tell you is, for example, the Lao Gong, the meridian point in the center of your hands, or the ones in your feet. When you activate that meridian, you'll also get this burning sensation as it activates. Qigong talks about this. So it is very much the same thing in your root. The difference is the root chakra is much larger than the point in your hand. So it's going to be far more intense. As these things are very intense, you want to not just allow these things to flow by themselves if you're not ready for them, because despite having done all the shadow work, despite having done all the connections you need to do, if this goes by itself, this is when you can run into difficulties. So this is where it's a very good idea to start doing many practices. Now, they don't come from the yogic traditions, they come from the Taoist traditions. So, for example, working the microcosmic orbit, working the dantians, learning how qi flows within the body. And so we can get some realm of control with these things. Because when Shakti rises, it can be very, very intense. And if you listen to people who have had spontaneous, true spontaneous Shakti risings, not Kundalini Awakening, Shakti risings, the energy shoots up so fast, shoots out the head, and it is as though their consciousness is being pulled out of their body. Now, if you're not ready for this, or if you are very fearful, then you're going to run into problems as your ego is going to kick in, try and fight with the energy, and all number of problems can occur. If we have some control, as Qigong teaches us, as Neigong teaches us, internal alchemy, we can then control the situation. As we feel ourselves going higher and higher and higher, we can say, okay, this is enough for today. I'm not ready to push it further. And you can bring it back down again. If you don't learn these practices, if it kicks in, if you're, as I said, fearful, good luck. And if you're ready for it, it's just like, okay, well, I'm going to go for it. Warning here, going for it. There are people that get stuck in this trance state for a week. For a week. How many people can suddenly, they're doing these practices and suddenly say, I'm in this trance state, I'm stuck, I've got to sit here until it stops for a week. Maybe just about sleeping and eating and going to the toilet, and that's it, because you can't do anything else. Yeah, if you don't control it, that can happen, even if it's a very successful, beautiful experience. Be warned. The Yoga of Kundalini. Dominate the mental body. Learn to allow the physical body and the emotions to connect to the energies. Allow them to release. Learn the control of the energy. This is the bit that isn't really taught that well in yoga. It is talked about because it is talked about through devotion and embodiment of the energies, or the divine gods and goddesses. That's what we're talking about there. So we're going into the other 4 schools of yoga. The mental body, the action, the devotion, Bhakti, Jnana, Karma, Hatha, Karma, Raja, yeah. It's all there very clearly if you know how to interpret it. And so this is a process, and there are people that will go through this for years and years and years by themselves and slowly go deeper and deeper and deeper. That's all brilliant. If that's the way you want to do it, go do it. And it's just about connecting more and more and more on a deeper level, connecting your physical body, your emotional body, your mental body to your energies, your subtle energies, deeper, 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 deeper. And the more you do, the more things can awaken. And when they awaken, bah! We have the chi, the prana flowing in the body. We get to a point where we can connect that Shakti, the root opens up. Having worked on all those things we have to overcome first that are associated with the chakras, then we go. Then we get to the first half of Kundalini. We have created the union with awakened Shakti. Now, most teachings stop here. That's half the Kundalini Yoga point. What most fail to then teach, I can name a million reasons why, but what most fail to teach is then the connection to Shiva or consciousness and bringing that down. This is where we have going higher. This is where we then have to on another level. So we can then go higher and we can see and we can understand consciousness. But then again, just as yoga, union, we then have to create the union between the energy and the consciousness to be able to bring that back down, to be able to fully embody it. And then we have created the union, the full union of Kundalini on every stage, on every level, and then it becomes a Kundalini awakening. You can take 20 years to do this. Some people need 20 years to do this. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say taking a long time, going slowly to do this is a bad thing. It's not. A lot of people need this, especially today. There's so much programming within people. There's so much stress due to doom scrolling, due to work life, due to there's so many fears plowed into us because of the programming. Some people need to go slowly. There are other people that have been working on certain processes for many years and just can't quite get there. So a lot of people that come and train with me have actually been doing practices for many years. They've been working on their shadows for many years. They've been doing inner alchemy, or they've been doing perhaps qigong practices for many years, and they're ready to get there. They can't quite do that phase. And there are other people that are just interested in doing this and going further because they've done alternative types of things. Perhaps they're already therapists, etc. There are other people that come and train with me. And then there are complete beginners. If you're interested in doing this, and again, the way I do this, we can do it 3 weeks intensive. That is only for people that have had some previous experience with things. We then have a 3-month intensive where it's one-to-one, no group retreats. No, it's one-to-one. So I can work with you in the way you need it. And then we have, which again, tends to be for therapists and people that have done some previous work. And then we have the 12-month training, which this is the one that is great for either very busy people who can't stick to an intensive schedule, but it's also great for the beginners to go step by step and take their time and really generate this union with their energies as they go through. So if you're interested in not having to take 10, 15, 20 years to do this, if you want to do it in a year or less, go to theawakenenergy.com. Come take a training with me. If you want to go slow, if you want to go slower, by all means, go slower. Take your time. If you know of anyone that might be interested in learning about what Kundalini Yoga or the union of Kundalini really means, as opposed to some yoga practice, share this video with them so they have the opportunity to see it too. And I know there are going to be lots of Kundalini yoga instructors who have been programmed in a certain way, and they're going to say, oh, no. That's their understanding. That's their belief. That's fine. They're there. That's their path. Just with all other types of yoga, all other realms of everything in this world. It's as simple as that. There's nothing wrong with that. That's their way. But so if you mention this to them, they might be, oh, no, that's not. Okay, fair enough. They're allowed to believe that. They're allowed to take the slow route and possibly get there one day. That's up to them. See you in another.